And not really surprising to hear this. I mean, we have known of President Trump's fixation with the stock markets, really pretty much shaping his economic policies.
That's exactly right, Sherry. I mean, how's your 401k doing? That's the question that Donald Trump loves to ask. He loves to ask at campaign rallies. It elicits a pretty big cheer from his supporters because they recognize that overall, and granted, we'll take December a little bit, but we've recovered from that. Overall, markets are doing quite well under the Trump presidency. And that's a point that the president likes to highlight, and he plans to highlight during his re-election campaign. This is a president incredibly sensitive to equity markets, and there has been concern among some China hawks for a very long time, frankly, that the president might be willing to cut any deal, not just a deal, but maybe a deal that might not be optimal with China in order to get the resultant bump that happens. I mean, we see the clear trend. Every single time that there's positive China news, you get a bump in not just the U.S., but in Asia as well, and I think that the president's very well aware of that.
Well, that trade deficit, given how much the president focuses on that number, would certainly be displeasing to him too.
Absolutely, absolutely it will. Look, the U.S. trade deficit hit a 10-year record today. It is much larger than the president wants it to be. It is also, look, as you said, the key metric that he looks at to judge how U.S. trade policies are working around the world. Now, it's important to note here that the trade deficit is not just a result of what President Trump does or doesn't do. A large part of it is currency related. It's related to, how well your economy is doing, an insatiable U.S. demand for cheap goods and imports. So there's a lot more to it than President Trump's trade policies. But look, this is a president who watches this number closely, and frankly, I think he's undeterred by it so far. I mean, this isn't necessarily prompting a revision of strategy. This is a president who just recently said that they're going to pull preferential trade status from India because they thought that India wasn't opening its markets well enough. So look for more from this president in his trade strategy, not less.
And Derek, it seems that the private sector in the U.S. is also getting involved right now. We are seeing that a group representing U.S. makers of kitchen and bathroom cabinets have filed one of the largest trade cases ever against China.
Yeah, how happy am I that I got my kitchen renovation done last year? I mean, I saved a ton of money comparatively. Look, this is an ongoing trend. You should see this as the next step in a trend rather than the start of something new. The kitchen cabinet makers are simply following the same playbook that the American steel industry did, that the American timber industry did, that the American solar industry, that the American washing machine industry has put forward. And all of those things are headlines that have run on the Bloomberg terminal, but they are looking at a situation where you have an administration that has been very, very favorable to a lot of these challenges and that has been willing to install countervailing duty and anti-dumping penalties on importers. And so this is just the latest in that string. But again, as you say, it's a $2 billion, possibly more challenge. This could actually be real money coming up. So for people who are looking at having some of these home repairs and renovations, it could very well increase the cost of all of that sort of activity.